Things have taken a major turn in terms of the future of the New York Islanders, and many fans who are hoping for a youth movement next season are going to be disappointed as several of the Islanders' top prospects are electing to remain in college hockey for another season. We're going to break down what that means for the Islanders on this episode of Islanders Digest and really talk about these players and what they can be in the future for the Islanders. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be one of our first 100 subscribers. If you're an Islander fan and you want more Islanders content just like this is the channel for you, so be sure to subscribe. Let's get right into the news. And Quinn Finley, one of the Islanders' top prospects, will be returning for his junior season in college, playing with the Badgers. He had a really solid year last season, so much so that a lot of fans were hoping that Quinn Finley would join the Islanders next season, or at least attempt to make the Islanders, and if not, go to Bridgeport to continue his pro career, or really begin his pro career moving on from college. That will not happen. He will be playing his junior season in college, and this is concerning some fans who are worried that Quinn Finley might potentially leave as a free agent. As people know, once a college player completes their 4 years, there is a situation, and it's not just college players, but college players are the ones that don't sign their entry-level contracts because the NCAA does not allow you to sign an entry-level contract. As a result, a lot of times when these players finish their senior years, sometimes they wait a few months to become a free agent, and there is some concern with that. The Islanders do still have Quinn Finley's right until 2027, August 15th. And to be honest, I don't think there's really any concern here, especially with Quinn Finley returning to his junior year. He still has another year before he even becomes a senior. 2027 is a long time away. And honestly, the Islanders are not really the type of team to worry about that. I know a lot of fans, I think a big part of this is right now the Islanders AHL team is so abysmal. It is so horrifically bad. And it's true. I would not want to play on that team if I was in college. That being said, I would not delay my professional career another season just to not play on the Bridgeport Islanders, especially when I would have the chance to make the pro team. And honestly, this is really not an issue that the Islanders have to deal with. In fact, if you look around college free agent signings, the Islanders have actually been doing pretty well this season and in past seasons, signing free agents from other teams or undrafted free agents from college. This is definitely more of a concern for Canadian teams or teams that really don't have any room for players to play in the NHL lineup. And the fact that fans are disappointed because we're not having a youth movement because they want all these players to be pro right now shows the Islanders do not have any issues with opportunity. And being on Long Island, they do not have any concerns with players not wanting to come to play in the area because it's a great area to play. So Islander fans don't have to worry about that. It might be a little more concerning if he gets to his senior year and he decides to play another season, like if he wants to play his senior year. But playing his junior year is not really a big concern. And honestly, he probably could use another year, as we're going to talk about when we get into these players' stats and talk about what they can be in the Islanders' future. Now, another player that will be returning to Notre Dame is Danny Nelson, another one of the Islanders' top prospects. And this also makes a lot of sense. Danny Nelson will also be a junior this season, so he has another year. It probably will be the exact same date when he does have the opportunity to hit free agency as Quinn Finley, although I also don't think that will happen. In fact, it's even less so with Danny Nelson, though I thought I would mention it, but he will also be returning for another year of college hockey. Now, Danny Nelson is a player that I thought would have a better chance of deciding to go pro, but he thinks it's best for his game long term, and honestly, I do agree, because while I do think Danny Nelson had a higher chance of trying to make the Islanders next season, I don't think it would have been for the best in terms of his development. Now let's talk about these two players because the Islanders have a lot to be excited about. Starting with Quinn Finley. Quinn Finley was drafted in the third round, 78 overall in 2022, and this is already looking like a great pick. In his first season in Wisconsin, he had 16 points, which is also already pretty good considering where the Islanders drafted him. But the next season in Wisconsin, he absolutely took off. This year, he scored 40 points, 20 goals, 20 assists. In the previous post, you saw he was being compared to some really good players, having the first 20-goal season for the Badgers since Cole Caulfield. Now is Quinn Finley, Cole Caulfield. No, they're not the same type of player. He definitely does not have the same type of upside, but he definitely has top 9 potential in the NHL. He does need to continue to build out his frame. He's 6 foot tall. He weighs 179 pounds. Not bad, but he definitely needs to put on a few more pounds of muscle. And also, if you really watch his game in college this season, while he is doing a really good job putting up points, he is kind of new to that role, at least of putting up points at a level like college. And he does have to round out the rest of his game. Did kind of make a lot of the mistakes here and there. There was a real crucial mistake where he was playing at the end of the game and he just failed to put the puck in an empty net, and then the other team took it right back down and scored. That's the type of thing he's definitely going to have to work on this season, and I think college is going to be a great place for him to not only replicate his offense this season and continue to try out new things, but also really hone in on his defense, because as I've said in other videos, one thing I love about the Islanders drafting and acquiring these players from college is it is a lot more beneficial and easier to develop a more well-rounded and defensive game in college, because those programs really seem to prioritize that defense. While in juniors, you have some players who do a great job developing defensively, but you also have a lot of players who really focus on the offensive side of the game and kind of leave the defense to whatever, because you're just trying to score so many points. Quinn Finley definitely needs another season in college, and I'm glad he is spending another year in college, because I wouldn't want him to rush his development. I don't think Bridgeport really has the best environment for him right now, and I definitely expect him to come pro next season, trying out for the Islanders, not next season, but the season after that, trying out for the Islanders. And if he doesn't make it, which he likely won't right away, he'll definitely have a role in Bridgeport, which is hopefully revamped by then. Next player we got to talk about is Danny Nelson, as we talked about before. Danny Nelson is a bit of an interesting case. The points are not as high as Quinn Finley, but I do think the potential is higher just because the type of player that Danny Nelson is. Now, originally, Danny Nelson was a defenseman who converted to forward before the draft, and because of that, he plays really strong defensive center, one of the better defensive centers. As you've seen, if you watch the United States play in World Juniors this year, under 20s, he was incredible as a two-way center and actually put up a little more offense on Team USA. So I wonder if part of his production in Notre Dame is just not the best chemistry with his line, because he played really well with Cole Eiersman when they got some power play time. But Danny Nelson is a player where it definitely makes sense for him to go back to Notre Dame and play another season. And I was actually kind of nervous that he would decide to try to go pro, because realistically, I think if Danny Nelson attempts to become the Islanders' fourth line center next season, he had a good 30% chance of making it. If someone got injured, he definitely would get the role, in my opinion, with what he's developed so far. But the thing with Danny Nelson is the ceiling for him is higher. This is a player who can become a middle six center. He can become a second or third line center, but he needs to develop the offense a bit more. And coming up to play another level, playing in the NHL or even the AHL, that is not the best place to develop that offense. The best place to develop that offense while still honing in on the rest of his defensive game is playing in college, having another season. And I really hope for Danny Nelson that instead of getting another 20 so points, he really steps it up next year and actually puts up a good 40 or so points. I definitely think it's possible if he continues to progress, and that's what the Islanders are hoping for him to really step up in the offensive side of things while also not losing what makes him so good defensively. Now, another player who has not officially announced that they will be staying in college, but will almost definitely be remaining in college for another season. I know some Islander fans want to see him right now, but it will definitely be best for his development to stay another year, is Cole Eiersman, the Islanders' first-round pick last season. And what a pick. This is already really looking like a steal. People were talking about it as a steal when they did it, but until the player really plays their first season, you don't really know. And in this first season in Boston University, because he was one of the youngest prospects drafted in the first round last year, he's really showing that he belongs. I mean, he's just a few weeks older than some of the players getting drafted in the first round top 10 this year. And the points he put up is a lot better than some of those guys. I mean, Cole Eiersman, 23 goals for a freshman is absolutely incredible. 34 points. He does need to well-round his offense, and no, he needs to well-round his overall play. And you'd also like to see him improve his defensive play a little bit. He does hit, but you'd like to see him be a little more aware in the defensive zone. Because of that, it makes total sense for the Islanders to keep him in college for one more season. But unlike these two players before that we talked about who are going in for their junior season, I think that sophomore season is all that Colt Eisman plays in college, and after that, he will definitely be ready to join the Islanders, at least in my opinion, if he continues to progress the way that he already has. Now, beyond that, if you want to see Cole Eisman really quickly before we end this video, you can watch him in the semifinals for the Frozen Four. The Terriers are taking on Penn State. So if you want to watch that game, it's on the 10th at 8:30, and it's not only will Cole Eisman be playing, but the Islanders actually have another prospect, another freshman, Camille Bendark. Camille Benaric. Sorry, I watched a video on how to say it before. I messed it up a little there, but he is another really solid prospect for the Islanders. Drafted him in the second round last season, and he does need a bit more of an offensive kick. So far, he's played really well for a freshman, but he has been playing more of a defensive role, and I think he will be getting an opportunity in next season for the Terriers because the Terriers have a lot of players moving on to the NHL, and as a result, he will have more minutes, likely playing with Cole Eisman. So it'll be really exciting to see them to continue to develop together, both playing these games for the Frozen Four this season and beyond. Now, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think of all these prospects. Are you concerned that they are not coming to the Islanders this next season? Or are you happy that they're spending another year in college? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm Patrick Nilan. Let's go Islanders.